This is our continuation of the practice file number 1. We are on question number 12. This is our rational expressions unit. This is combined factor reduce, all the different fractions and rational expressions. So number 12 says 5a minus 5b all over 15a. What I mean by is factor, you cannot cross anything off because these are stuck together, right? So we're going to factor a minus b, and then we're going to get 15 times a. So now these are eligible to be crossed off. That turns into a 1. That turns into a 3. So this equals a minus b all over 3a. The a's cannot cross off because it's stuck with that minus b. 13 says b squared minus 25 all over b squared minus 7b plus 10. So we have to factor first. So we're going to say difference of squares up top. Alright, we should recognize that by now. Down the bottom, we're looking for something that multiplies to 10 and adds to 7 negative. So we got 2 times 5 will do it if they're both negative, right? Because they have to add to a positive, add to a negative and multiply to a positive. So those cross off, so our final answer is b plus 5 all over b minus 2. Number 14 is 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. That's a guess and check, so that's going to be a little bit time consuming. And then down here at the bottom, so I'm just going to kind of come off here to the side and do this one right here. So I got to find all the ways to multiply to 2, all the ways to multiply to 12, which there is kind of a lot, so that's what really makes this problem annoying. I'm going to switch to a pencil or something that's erasable. So looking at, okay, so I know the first two are going to be like this. Now remember what I told you, try to start with the two closest together. It's not a guaranteed rule, but it's a good way to start. And there can't be any GCF, so don't put the 4 there. And let's see, we're going to get 3x and 8x. So that looks like it's going to work. If they're both negative, that makes these both negative. So does this multiply to a positive? Yes, and it adds to a negative. So we are good to go. Good guess. So coming over here, we know that it's up top we've got this. In the bottom, what multiplies to 28 and gets us to 3? Well, 28 is going to be 2 and 14 or 4 and 7. So it's going to be 4 and 7. It adds to a positive, so the bigger one's got to be that, and then it multiplies to a negative, so one's got to be negative. Okay, and you can see the x minus 4's cross off, and our final answer is 2x minus 3 all over x plus 7. Number 15. Says x squared plus x minus 6 all over 4 minus 2x. So up top, what multiplies to 6 and gets us to 1? Well, it's 2 and 3. It's got to multiply to a negative and add to a positive, so the bigger one has to be positive. Down below here, I got a GCF of a 2. Okay, and you can see how these don't match. Okay, because that's a negative 2, that's a positive 2. So what I'm going to do, instead of factoring out a positive 2, I'm going to factor out a negative 2. Now they match. And I'm looking at x plus 3 all over negative 2. 16. Now we're looking at multiplication here. Okay. So we have to combine the fractions and then reduce them, right? So I'm going to go ahead and factor these at the same time. So this one up here, what multiplies? So this is going to be this one up here factored, and then I'm going to combine it with the top one. You see what I'm saying here? I'm going to factor this bottom one and I'm going to combine it with this bottom one that's being factored. So let's start up top here. What multiplies to 5 and adds to 6? That is 5 and 1 if everything is positive. Down below here, what multiplies to 8 and adds to 2? Well, that's got to be 2 and 4, and they add to a positive, so the bigger one has to be positive. What over here multiplies to 6 and gets us to 5? That's 2 and 3. They add to a negative, multiply to a positive, so they both have to be negative. And then what multiplies to 15 adds to 2? That would be 3 and 5. They add to a positive and multiply to a negative, right? So now we're going to see if we can cross anything off. Here's x plus 5s. There's x minus 2s. There's x minus 3s. And we get x plus 1 all over x plus 4, right? They only cross off if they're ones on the top and ones on the bottom. All right, 17. Oops, that was, I just did 16. Let's go back and so that last one was 17. This next one is 16. I went out of order here. Same type of question though. And, okay, so same thing. I'm going to factor this top one. That one doesn't factor. Okay. I'm going to factor this bottom one. That's a difference of squares. And this one's a difference of squares. Okay, so what multiplies to 10 and adds to 3? It's going to be 5 and 2. And it adds to a positive, multiplies to a negative. X plus 2, x minus 2, x plus 3, x minus 3. And let's see what we can cross off. We got the x minus 2s, the x plus 1s. That's it. So we're basically on x plus 5 all over x plus 3, x minus 3. And you got to watch out because the answer, if it's multiple choice, may also be this. They may go ahead and put those back together through foiling. All right. Question number 18. Three x minus 15 all over 4 divided by x squared minus 25 all over 2x minus 10. So now this one we have to combine them, but we got division here first, right? So we have to keep, flip, and change. Then we're going to factor and combine. Okay. So now remember, multiplication of a reciprocal is the same as division, and so let's factor this top one. It turns into x minus 5 all over 4. And this one I got a GCF. Now be careful, I'm taking this 2 out. Don't lose it. Okay, we really should put that out front. Then we got a difference of squares down here. Okay, so at 1 x minus 5 goes away. That goes away, leaves me with the 2. So up top I'm left with this right here, which is 3 times x minus 5, and down below here I'm left with that 2 and that x plus 5, right? And those are not the same. I cannot cross those off. Number 19. Number 19 says c squared minus 3c minus 10 all over c squared minus 4 divided by c squared minus 25 all over c squared plus 2c minus 15. So same thing, this is division, so we have to convert this to multiplication of the reciprocal. Keep the first one, change the multiplication, and flip. That's our keep, flip, change. Over c squared minus 25. Now, okay, now I can actually combine them and factor. So here we go again. Let's see here. What multiplies to 10 adds to 3? That's going to be 5 and 2 again. But this time the bigger one's negative. Down below I got a difference of squares. C minus 2, C plus 2. And then keeping this going over here. What multiplies to 15 and adds to 2? That's through 3 and 5. it adds to a positive, so the bigger one's got to be positive, and down here we got c minus 5, c plus 5. Let's see what we can cross off here. C minus 5, c minus 5, c plus 2, c plus 2, c plus 5, c plus 5. So we're left with c minus 3 all over c minus 2. Number 20. Now, we're going to switch to addition here. Okay. And this is where a lot of people get themselves in trouble. This is probably one of the most missed questions. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add fractions here. So you have to have common denominators, which we don't have. So you have to find the greatest common factor. And so you basically look at these and see, what do these turn into? Greatest common factors always get larger. So looking at the numbers, it's going to be 3 and 2, so that's going to be a 6. That's their first common multiple. And then x and y is just each has to have an x and a y. So I got to make the bottoms have that. Remember, I have to multiply by 1, or top and bottom. So this one gets multiplied by 2x over 2x. This one gets multiplied by 3y over 3y, which is technically multiplying by 1. It doesn't change the value of the fraction. So now we're looking at 4x squared all over 6xy plus 3y squared all over 6xy. Okay. Now I have common denominators, I can actually add them, but the tops are not common, are not like terms. So I simply can just put them on the same fraction line. And that is my final answer right there.